Hey there, friends. Welcome back. I have a little visitor with me today. Do you want to introduce yourself? Go ahead.
I'm Grace Hunt.
What are we talking about today? Do you know?
Plants.
Plants. You're right. We have a lot to cover today. We are going to do our weekly seed sowing. We are going to do our weekly seedling check-in. We are going to try a new kind of gadget, and we're going to cover some hard truths today, okay? The reality of seed starting on any kind of scale. What should we start with? Should we look at our babies? Okay, let's check in on our plant babies.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we should talk about these.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember what kind of plant these are? Snaps?
Snapdragons.
Yeah. Okay. So these are our little babies. You've been seeing these all along. These are now 4 weeks old. Yep. Give them a little exercise. Good job. Nothing new to report here. They're still coming along really good, right? We have dill. Getting a little crazy. More basil, this whole tray. Good job, Grace. These little blocks are oregano, and I just think they're so cute. They're just like little mounds. It reminds me of like a topiary, but they're looking so cute. Cilantro, basil, salvia, bee balm, craspedia. This parsley is looking pretty good. Dill again over here. This whole tray was planted at the same time as the snapdragons that we just looked at. So these are all about 4 weeks old, and they're right on schedule.
Mama.
Yeah.
I have a question for you.
Okay.
How did you plant all these seeds in this one day?
Well, I don't plant all of them in one day, and that's actually a very good question. I don't plant all my seeds in one day. I break it up week by week. So I have 1 day a week that I plant my seeds for that time, and then that's it. If you try and start all of your seeds at one time, that would be really overwhelming. That would be too much, right? And then everything would be ready to go in the ground at the same time, and you would have crazy germination. And
yeah,
that was a very good question. All right, so we showed you all of our older seedlings, our teenagers. And if you remember from last week, I planted a lot of peppers, like hundreds of peppers. So we are 1 week out from that planting or sowing. And I just moved these guys to light today. These are bananas. You can see
banana peppers.
Banana peppers. They're coming up. Yep. These little babies are like being born right now.
Yeah. I have one more question.
What's your question?
Should we show them our station where we plant all our plants?
We are going to get to that. Yep. We're going to talk about these little guys that are not doing so well, and then we're going to go out to the laundry room and do our sewing. Okay? All right. We showed you the good stuff. We showed you the seedlings that are thriving, okay? But that's not the whole story. If you are starting seeds on any kind of scale, anything, whether it's vegetables, flowers, both, whatever, you're gonna kill seedlings, okay? You're gonna have issues. You're gonna have seeds that don't germinate. You're gonna have seeds that germinate and then die. There's all kinds of things, and that's just the reality of it. It's not a failure. You're probably not doing anything wrong. Just try again, okay? So I'm gonna show you now some of my fails in the past week and a half. Last week, in addition to the peppers, I sowed a lot of flowers. This tray has status and atriplex. Do you think that looks like good germination?
No.
No, it doesn't. Not at all. These plants, like there's a couple that look good and there's a couple that are just like, bleh. Exactly. Also from last week, this whole tray of Sweet William and Feverfew. Now, these look terrible. I'm gonna let them live just because I want to see what happens with them, okay? These guys germinated very, very quickly. Did I have a day where I wasn't home for half a day and I didn't get them to light in time? Probably. One of the things I think is happening that's causing some issues is that my heat mat is cooking my seeds. I think that my heat mat is getting too hot. The soil temperature is getting too high in these small blocks because they do not have a large soil mass. So, of course, I can't lay hands on my soil thermometer, so I can't, I don't know the exact temperature we're getting to, but that's one of the things I'm thinking. When I took these away from heat, within 2 days, you see these little Feverfew babies? Those are looking fantastic, okay? So when I remove the heat, I got, I have 100% germination right here. Today, I am gonna re-sow all my colors of Sweet William. I am gonna re-sow, parsley. This tray was sown in the first week of February. So this is 2 weeks old. This should all be parsley. My Craspedia did fantastic. Beautiful. 4 blocks of Craspedia. I have about, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 seedlings of parsley. Like, that's ridiculous. What the heck happened here? Could be that it's just taking its sweet time. But I'm thinking that's not the case. Although I do see some other germination here. So I'm gonna let these go and just see what they do because I have the space. Anything else you wanna add? Anything I missed? What?
Show them your lab.
Show them my lab?
Yeah.
What is that?
Where you plant these.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let's head to the lab. All right, Grace, here we are in the lab, AKA our laundry room. This is where we do all of our seeding, all of our mixing, our potting up.
I already
everything.
know about our lab.
Oh, well, excuse me. Before I get to sowing my seeds, I thought it would be a good time to review my soil blocking mix in case anybody is interested in that. So, for our soil blocking mix, we need potting soil, cocoa coir, green sand, mycorrhizae, cinnamon, and water. Okay?
Yeah.
So, we start with 4 parts.
4 parts.
Potting soil.
Potting soil. Mama, I have a question for you.
Okay.
What if you don't have enough potting soil?
I do have enough potting soil.
No. I mean, yeah.
Well, you don't have to mix, you don't have to use such a big container. Like you could use, I don't know, anything. You could use a cup. You don't have to make this much. So you can adjust it to what you need and how much of the supplies you have. Okay? Next, 1.5 parts cocoa coir.
If you don't have cocoa coir, buy some.
1/2 part green sand.
1/2 part green sand.
All right. Mycorrhizae, I use 2 scoops for a batch this size.
Mycorrhizae.
Cinnamon,
I know.
as much as you want. Do you want to put it in?
Yeah. It's like that you're mixing like ingredients in your kitchen, but it's plant soil. This is a family update. I am 4. This one I know.
Okay. I'm sorry, you are just really taking this, you're taking this video off the rails. But that's okay, that's life. This is really our day.
And it's really true that I'm 4.
Yeah. Water, yeah. Add enough water until it gets to the right consistency. I'll do this.
Ooh, it smells like rain.
What did you say? It smells like rain? You're right. I knew you were going to do that. Gentle, gentle, gentle. Okay, now that I am done dealing with my soil blocks for the day, I am ready to move on to using my new little gadget here. This is a 36 cell tray. It's a square, so that's nice. This was gifted to me, and I think it's really pretty cool. It's very sturdy, first of all, so it's gonna last for a long time. And then the bottoms of the cells are silicone. So if you can imagine, you know, you have a little plant start, a seedling in there, and you'll be able to really easily manipulate that bottom part and even to push it out, and those edges won't break up. Sometimes in a cell tray, it's those corners that just break out as you're trying to squeeze and get the plants out, and then they're pretty much garbage at that point. I am going to re-sow my lazy parsley and my chives. My chives, I can't even say chives plural. My chive, one came up. That one I might be dealing with just old seed and low germination, but we'll see. I'm gonna try this. I am going to do just 1 row of 6 plantings of chives, and then the rest will be parsley. Now, I may end up with a surplus of parsley, and that'll be okay. If those blocks on my grow rack decide to get with the program, I'll have a lot. We might have a busy year for plant sales, so maybe I'll need all this extra parsley. So I've got all of my sewing done for the day, and I made a little adjustment to my heat mat. I'm gonna see if that helps with my germination. I actually used cooling racks that I would normally use for cookies, just to give a little bit of a buffer space between the soil block and the soil block tray and the heat mat. Because as I mentioned earlier, I think one of my problems is that these small soil blocks are just retaining too much heat. The soil temperature is getting too high, germination happens, the plant goes like crazy, and then once they're moved to light, I think that just those tender lower portions of the plant are just getting fried and terribly unhappy. We'll see if this works. I don't know. We'll see by next week. I just want to mention again that if you are having issues with your seedlings or your germination, it happens. You can expect that. Not everybody gets everything right all the time. I don't have all the answers. Not all my plants survive, but you keep trying, and that's all you can do. Every growing year is going to be different. Even if your setup is exactly the same, you're going to have differences in how your plants act. I think it's also important to keep in mind that some seeds are just really tough to germinate and take care of through this period. I remember one of my first years trying to grow all my own plants from seed. I thought, oh, I'm going to try eucalyptus. I love eucalyptus, and I'm going to try lavender. Now I know that was a ridiculous idea because both of those things are really tricky and really finicky. And I remember feeling like, oh man, my peppers are doing so good and my tomatoes are doing so good. And what is wrong with these other seeds? What did I do wrong? I just didn't have the right conditions, but I didn't know that at the time. I know that now. So if you're feeling like a failure, you're not a failure. You're learning, okay? And that's a huge part of what we're doing here. We're always learning. It's so important to just make your notes. Here's what worked this year. Here's what didn't work. Here's what's doing really well. And here's some things I won't grow again because they were terrible. You're allowed to change your mind. You're allowed to change what you're growing based off of what you enjoy. I hope this was helpful. I will see you next week for a seedling update. I hope I have great news for you with these guys that I sowed today. And keep planting, keep sowing the seeds, and keep moving forward. We're getting closer to spring. Next week, we are going to be doing a big planting. It is tomato week and the rest of our peppers, and also a lot more flowers. I don't know where I'm going to put all this stuff, but we're going to grow it. So I hope you will join me next time. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel to stay up to date on all of our homestead happenings. I'll see you next time on Han Acre.
It's like rocks, guys, but it's not rocks. See, Mom? Like rocks, but it's seeds. It's like seeds. So this is how you make polyzoia. Oh no! Ow! Ow! I wish that I was outside.
Me too.
It would be a nice day to go outside.
It's raining in here.
I didn't know that it was going to be raining today.
Me neither.
If you guys know this song, sing it. Rain, rain, go away. Come again another day. Baby wants to play. Rain, go away. What? Coco core.
Coco core.
Coco core.
Coco core.